Hello, Manhattan. I'm Kyle Mathews, and this is Manhattan Minutes, the most important minutes of your day. Today on Manhattan Minutes, reporter Jennifer Shadle sat in as award-winning novelist Philipp Meyer read and discussed some of his works for K-State faculty and students. Also, Manhattan's new housing bill passed last year is now in effect. See what kind of progress is being made on enforcing its new regulations today. But first, with spring break less than 3 weeks away, many students are finalizing their plans. If you are still undecided and looking for something to do, reporter Logan Jones tells us why an alternative spring break may be a nice option.
With the month of March beginning and winter turning to spring, many students are counting down the days until spring break. While some students will be enjoying their time on the beach, others will be donating their time to help others. As campus pastor David Jones explains, these alternative options have a lot to offer.
It helps remind us that we're all connected to one another and that the welfare of one is dependent on the welfare of another, and so it keeps us connected to we not only here at K-State, our friends, but then also it helps us understand that we have a common humanity that we share with others.
There are many different destinations available for alternative spring breaks. Some majors are even offering trips of their own. But why should students want to go on these non-standard getaways? K-State student Deanne Turpin explains how alternative spring breaks offer more than a regular week off of school.
Alternative spring breaks are a really good option. Instead of staying home and studying, you get a chance to meet other people. You can do a lot of community service. It's also fairly cheap to go, which I know as a college student is important. My trip costs roughly about $150, and I probably eat more than that in a week worth of food. But overall, it's really the memories that you create.
This year, locations such as Louisville, Kentucky, Texas City, Texas, and Nashville, Tennessee are being offered. Jones explains how the Louisville trip differs from some trips they've had in the past.
It's actually a poverty immersion experience. It's really more about the transformation of the individual students that are involved. There is some community service activity, but it's part of this larger experience of understanding what it's like to be poor and what struggles and resources poor people have to deal with the issues that they face.
For Manhattan Matters, I'm Logan Jones.
Alternative spring break trips through ECM cost $150. For more information and details, visit Manhattan Matters and their Facebook page. From high school dropout to up-and-coming novelist, K-State's recent guest Philipp Meyer definitely has a story to tell. The novelist recently spoke to students and faculty at KSU's Little Theater on February 25th. Meyer did a lot of reading from his novel American Rust, and then he answered some questions from the audience too. He also mentioned how his hometown and childhood has inspired his writing. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood in Baltimore, Maryland, he decided to write about the hard lifestyle people from the area have. In addition to his book making many best books list, Meyer has also received many other writing honors. Like many K-State students in attendance, Brett Weber thinks Meyer was an entertaining guest speaker to have at K-State.
It's interesting, like the New Yorker said, he's one of the top 20 under 40, which is it's kind of nifty that we get to have an author like of that caliber that comes up and visits us at K-State.
Check out the Little Theater's next visiting writer, Irish poet Moya Cannon, on April the 8th. If you are one of those Manhattan residents who lives in rental housing, then you had better listen in. Follow us as we take a look at how a 2010 housing bill is affecting living situations right now.
I mean, if it's trashy inside and nasty, I'm not going to want to live there. If it's under construction, I'm not going to want to live there either, so.
This is the thoughts of most people looking for a place to live. People want the best place for the lowest price. Well, with the new citywide inspection program, things in Manhattan have changed. Now, the city requires all rental properties within the city limits to be registered and inspected. Rental Inspection Officer for Manhattan, Rick Berry, says properties that have been properly inspected will be noticeable.
I think it'll benefit it greatly because there are so many nasty houses out in town, you know, in certain areas that they're renting out to students that I wouldn't want my kids living in.
One of the main purposes of this inspection program is to hold property owners accountable. But if tenants are the problem, they will be held accountable too. Inspections have started, and around 300 out of the 10,000 units have been inspected so far. Only time will tell how the improvements affect Manhattan renters. In the meantime, students must keep one thing in mind. For Manhattan Matters, I'm Erin Amrine.
And that just about wraps up this week's edition of Manhattan Minutes. For even more Manhattan news content, be sure to catch our television broadcast and check out our Manhattan Matters Facebook page. I'm Kyle Mathews, and you have been watching Manhattan Minutes. All right. Yeah, it's getting there. Nice. All right. Ready? But first, with spring break less than 3 weeks away, many students are finalizing their plans. If you are scrolling too fast, then the high school drop. Yeah, there he is.
Am I louder now?
Absolutely. Kyle. Oh, hey, Aaron. Nanya.
Hold for a second.
You recording this?
Yep, he's recording.
All right, we'll look good too.
Whenever you're ready. Yes.
Ooh. I feel like I'm just like looking in a mirror or something to myself. All by myself, without Jim Morris, it's lonely.